What? Larry, we're live once again. Hello, and by the way, thanks Raquel for our intro and our outro, and for all the tros that you're throwing at us once in a while. Speaking of tros, Larry, missed you
Yes,
last
sir.
week.
I know. Clients,
Clients
can't
or
can't live with
vacation?
them, can't live without them.
Oh dear.
Vacation, it's
Well,
all
last
over the
week
place.
was Labor Day though, so we had a short week.
We did.
You were
But
not in
this
labor;
week,
you were laboring.
this week we're ready to get in and dig into some fun stuff about the cloud, the edge, whatever kind of comes to mind.
Or
So
whatever comes to mind. Well, the first thing that came to mind is the one thing that came through, and maybe you'll wonder about this. I think on the shared screen right now we have you're showing your Windows Update screen
we
right now.
do. I
Uh,
know. I know.
and I say people say, well, hold on a second, what does that have to do with the cloud Windows updates? Like, well, several things. Number one is the cloud exists. Yeah, sure, it's a ephemeral thing that's out there that we get to use its services, and we're not supposed to care what's happening behind it. But actually, if you're doing this a bit for a living, or if you are paying money for it, you may want to care. As in, all right, what is running under the covers for that stuff? And when I'm doing certain kinds of what's the good word for it? Workloads or things like that. What would you be using for it? And then, of course, there's the other case of like, well, I really don't want to use my machine to do the work. I don't have much enough power. Wouldn't it be cooler if I just simply connect VDI, connect, one of those kind of things to a system that's out there that has everything I need? What would that look like? What would that
Well,
environment look like? A Mac,
I mean,
Windows, what?
yeah, I wish I'd thought to stack them all up so that I could show them. I can look at 3 or 4 different customer laptops that
Whoa,
I've been sent that I have and have to keep
holy
available
smokes.
because I still need to contract, and do work with them. And that's just crazy that they're having to ship laptops around. I mean, that's nuts. And so one of the big things that we talked about, and I still haven't gotten in, I've got to work on it,
Mm-hmm.
is Windows has the new, or Microsoft has the new Windows platform, which is
That's right.
basically
The Windows 365,
the
as
Windows
they call it.
365, right? It's a little different than the VDI that you could do, but
Yep.
it's Windows in the cloud. And we were chatting, what version of Windows is it, and should we care? And the answer is, of course, we care, but we don't necessarily know what version of Windows. And so, the reason this is showing is because I'm running Windows 11. I'm on
Right.
the developer. You go to the Windows Insider program and install it. During the show here, I'm installing. I've got 32% for the latest pre-release. So if I run away, if it crashes on me, then that's because I'm living dangerously. I'm on the edge.
Oh my
Um,
God.
no, but the truth is that a lot of the computing that we do,
Uh-huh.
really, we shouldn't care what operating system it's running on, right?
Indeed. We
Last
shouldn't.
week before last, we talked about Linux um, having a birthday, turning 30, and now we're looking at, when I'm writing code, or when I've got people writing code, we're writing it for .NET Core, which is cross-platform. It can run on any of the different places. It can run in the cloud on any of the different hosting services.
Right. Right.
But I mean, we still sort of care, right? We still sort of care because we're used to the way certain things are. On a Mac, the top left is where my minimize and close buttons are for my
Mm-hmm.
Windows. And
Right.
even that small thing can kind of throw you off.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I mean, it's the littlest things, like the littlest things that you get used to. I mean, the fact that for the longest time it was the difference between a 1 button or a 2 button mouse.
Exactly.
That itself was like a cultural, almost like I'm an alien versus like someone else kind of person because of how I operate.
Well, see, and now I've got this mouse that's got the little scrolly thing in the
Oh,
middle, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
third button, and you get to scroll up and down, and it's And then there are the gaming mice with 6 and 7 buttons you use with your thumb.
I think
it's
the gaming mice are like gloves now or something. I guess they look really. They're like, hold on a second. It's like when you put your hand in there, it's like, it just covers you up or something. That's the next gaming mouse that I'm waiting for right there.
Yeah. But back to cloud. If we're looking at virtual machines in the cloud, and we've got a way to, we've talked about Chocolatey in the past, a way to automatically install our software.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked infrastructure before, right? When you're building out infrastructure as code, we want to tear it all down and then build it all back up every
You got it.
time.
Right.
If we did that with our developer machines, wouldn't that be neat? That way you would know that everything that you have is actually in source control. It's not something that you have on your local machine because you don't really have a local machine anymore.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
Then it's called ultimate governance at that point.
And we kind of flip the narrative a little bit and change the way that people are working. And I complain all the time about people moving my cheese, and we would be doing that for our developers, but I think in a good purpose. I think it would be for a good reason. But even just what we're doing right now, right? Yep. The fact that I've got a video camera up here and a microphone down here and headsets on,
right?
And screens. Yeah. There are kits that you can turn your phone into, like this whole podcasting thing. I'm not really sure about that myself. I've not tried them, but
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, basically this becomes your camera. I mean,
right. Could we make it into an appliance? But I'm sorry, I'm kind of monopolizing here, but I've got some inertia.
Go for it.
These devices that we're talking about here are the edge devices that
these are the edge devices. Edge. Yes, this is the edge right there.
So what does the edge mean to us? What should it mean to us? For me, the edge means that it's where the cloud meets the person. Okay, that's the edge of the cloud. The cloud is always about getting all the way down to the people.
Right.
What this means to a business, though, and this is the fun part, is if I write an app for their phone, then who's paying for the electricity to run that app?
Oh.
Who's paying for the computing power and the memory that's used when this app is being run?
Mm-hmm.
That's a different kind of scaling. If you push your programming and your computing all the way to the edge, then the center part that you own and that you build out doesn't have to be as big, which means it lowers your cost,
right?
Which leads you to a faster kind of return on investment. Everybody's talking about return.
And it also allows you to scale further, because now you have all that processing power that you would have otherwise used to do that work. You can now service many, many more people and devices or things or services than you would have otherwise.
Right. And if you push the storage, right, a lot of the storage out to the outer edges. So if we look at something like, let's look at TikTok or something that people are doing a lot with their phones to edit and build those videos. They're not building it in a service that's running on the cloud.
Right.
Okay? Think about how much that would cost. Now, YouTube is different. YouTube is kind of the other end of that, because there's a lot that we can do to edit these videos in the cloud once they're posted.
Correct.
And so it's a different model, and the computing and the kind of cognitive, the brain power that went into setting that software up is different. They're solving different problems, and they're solving them in different ways.
That's true.
And that's what gets me out of bed every morning.
So like, I'll give you an example. In the case of YouTube, for example, what we're doing right over here, if we want to, we can't exactly what we're doing. We can't do on the fly. We're using an edge piece of software, the OBS system or Teams, essentially, because Teams is right now the Teams application for our meeting. Maybe OBS doing the streaming and all this stuff. That's the edge bits, right? Meanwhile, back in the cloud is YouTube collecting information. Can we do anything there? The moment it's done and we want to edit it, we have to wait. I can't go there
Right.
and right away do something. Now, if that was pushed to the edge, in other words, if I had maybe a YouTube app, right,
Yes.
wherein this was going through that particular app, well, I would have that intermediary, like a TikTok in this case, the
Hmm.
intermediary to make the edits, to make the changes right there. And if the connection's lost or anything else, it can still go on a little bit. You're not losing anything. The moment, in the case of like, do I lose my connection? Did I just lose all the stuff that I did? Right.
That's right. Oh,
And I'll
see,
tell you,
I'm
you know who
glad
really
that you
does that
brought
well?
connection up.
Yep. There we go.
There you go.
You say, really
Yep.
does that well, or games lately? Well, some. There are some
Okay.
that are bad, some of that are evil, I will say. But some of them lately, I see that because that's edge power right away. Because now these things can run very high quality gaming and all that stuff because there's a lot of memory and everything else. All that stuff now is pushed down. So even without a connection or even with a slow connection, so here's the other case. The slow connection. Why was edge computing important? It's like not everything is on a 1 gigabyte monster connection. You got your 5G, you got your 4G, for heaven's sakes, you got your LTE, all this other stuff going on still.
Mhm.
Without the edge computing ability, you're basically dead in the water. You can't do
Well,
anything.
see, and we've got two different things that can impact that stream of communication. It can be a long cable, right?
Yep.
It can be long where there's a lot of latency, so it takes a while for the information to get back and forth. It can also be a small pipe where there's just not a lot of bandwidth, and both of those can lead to different types of problems. But one of the issues with pushing things to the edge is do you trust the computing that's being done there?
Aha.
And it's good that you talked about games there because that's a problem with a lot of games. They have trouble with cheaters. They have trouble with people running
Yes.
additional software and
Yes.
modifying the stream of traffic that's going through because it's not done inside their place.
That's right.
And one of the interesting things that, and another bring us back to Windows 11. One of the things that people are kind of yelling about with Windows 11 is that it's got a trusted, uh, it has a piece of software that requires you to enable a trusted module within your motherboard and CPU
Hmm.
to kind of separate, if you will, things that you're running versus what the operating system is running. And
Aha.
there are already game companies that are releasing updates to their games that include and require that trusted module to
Oh.
stop cheating.
Whoa. Listen to
So,
that.
but
Like,
we
my
talk.
daughter right now is listening closely because she's like, oh
Yeah,
shoot, all those cheat codes.
no, 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 no. Cheat codes are different than the anyway.
All right.
When we talk about phones and the phones, the edge, there's Android and there's Apple. Those are the two winners. I
Yep.
still bemoan the loss of Windows Phone.
Windows Phone. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Moment of silence. Sorry, but they treat trust in two different ways, right? Apple has a closed garden and Android has an open garden, but they still, unless you've done a jailbreak on your phone, you still trust and have to trust the software that's been installed.
Correct.
So, it's not a Windows 11 isn't going to a different model. It's just kind of bringing itself up to these edge devices. So,
That okay. So that's actually an important concept right over there. So why is the OS important? The concept of why it's still important is because at some point you need to deal with the cloud, and at some point you will have to have an interface, whether it be on the Mac or your Android, or in the case of the laptops and these systems, Windows. Right.
right.
So it is important to know what you're getting. And I think for me, the Windows update, the big thing about that is that secure, that trust piece over here. Right now, there's a lot of things I don't do, mainly because I just don't want to even take the smallest chance that a clicky or a link could lead into trouble. So I don't even bother.
Right.
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 So
Oh,
maybe there's some
it's
things that I could be doing, more opportunities. I'm like, you just made it hard for me to go and even look at that because, now I won't touch it. Right. In this
right.
particular case, if there's a little bit more assurance, I will at least give it a shot. If there's something to say like, okay, you can open up a little bit, and then the creature can come and attack and stay inside their content. All right. I guess I feel safe. It's like what I maybe the equivalent would be like, I don't trust your old version of the shark cage, but the new one that's got the titanium alloy, big cage thing going around, I don't mind going down to visit the sharks while I'm at it, right?
Yeah.
So the
Well,
other guy, no, I won't go there.
and getting into the shark cage when it's on land is different than getting into it when it's in the water too.
Uh,
So, I mean, listen,
I think it's a big difference.
there's
Of
a
course,
big, there's a little
hold
bit of
on,
a
I'm looking
difference.
for a land shark reference somewhere over here. Remember that one, land shark?
I do, land shark.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Which the man, I'll tell you that the Suicide Squad movie just cracked me up because I was always thinking about the land shark.
Right.
Okay,
Oh
so
man.
the thing about the Windows 11 and the thing about installing software, right? I mean, I'm installing Windows 11 on my home machine. This is not my work machine. It's not any of my customer provided machines. So, I'm kind of blessed to have a machine that I can play around with. But if you just got one and you're scared to install new software on it, or you're not allowed to install new software on it, then what are you going to do?
Right.
And one of the big things that came out this week, actually about Windows 11 and what is it, Windows Server 2022, is that they allow nested virtualization on AMD chips as well as Intel. For a long time, you could do nested virtualization. So the laptop that you got, you can run nested virtualization on it because it's got a Core i7 in it.
Correct.
Right? Which means you can run a VM inside of a VM. That's what nested virtualization means. Where that's big, where it's always been big for me, is because I play with Android and stuff, and running emulators inside a virtual machine is running a virtual machine inside of a virtual machine.
Inside of a virtual machine, exactly right. So if you want to do testing or any of that, you need to have that ability.
So if I were going to do coding using Xamarin, right, in Visual Studio, I would have to do it in my outer shell. I couldn't do it inside a virtual machine that I set aside and built just for that. And now, though, because they've opened it up to AMD, I've got an AMD processor in my home machine here. That means that I can actually nest VMs and do it that way. So, and we've got colleagues that build a virtual machine for every new client, and they do all of their development inside that virtual machine, and then at the end of it they can delete it and not have to worry about having any kind of leftover cruft.
That's true. So, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's the greatest thing. It's like you come in there, you're doing the work, you have all the pieces that you need, and when you don't need it, it just simply shuts itself down, like the good old holodeck on old Star Trek, right? You go in once you're done, and it just becomes nothing all once again, right? But it's just bits, right? As opposed to like going in there and getting a house constructed for you, so you have the look, the facades, and all that stuff. When you have to take it down, well, it either gets left behind or you get to take it down. An example, I remember years ago we had Apocalypse Now. It was done in the Philippines where I was living over there. The sets are still there. Some of it has been like, let's just say, creatively used as swag for other things. But for the most part, a lot of the set is actually, you can actually go there. The guy who was hanging that was dropped down, he's gone long time. But like you can see the pagoda looks and some of the statues. Those sets are still there. Now imagine, of course, now in our digital world, all we needed was that jungle look, and ILM will go ahead and put on all the stuff in behind it, and when they're done, all gone. We were never here. We were never here.
Yeah, lowering the impact is great. Well, but one of the problems with doing virtual machines is that you have to keep them all up to date, and if they're not running, they won't update. So there's still some interesting things that we can do around that. I still think, though, the best thing for us to do is I'm coming to the conclusion that moving to a developer gets a virtual machine that is created when they sign in the morning and
Mhm.
downloads all the software and installs it all and does all of that for them fresh.
Oh, the chocolatey approach, you mean?
The chocolatey approach, yes.
Right. So
I
basically,
just
you're always ensured that
maybe
basically
once a
because
week.
it's not a copy that just appears and then has to go through all the crazy updates. It's a
Right,
case of like it's built fresh every time you use it fresh.
right,
However, it's going to be built to the point of what you need at that particular time, which means if it's code, all you have to do is update the code with the updates. All
right.
right. So
And
we can maintain it just by saying every time we have an update, that code gets updated. So the next person who kicks off a virtual machine or for his work will have the latest.
they get the newest, the latest, and all of the tools are in place.
Right.
And you patch the base image once, and then everyone has the patch the next time they interact with it.
Well,
So I mean, there's a lot of
in case you want to like reuse it, of course, is where storage goes. Storage has to be handled separately so that if you kill everything around it, the content doesn't change. Now, if the content's no longer compatible with the other thing, well, that's a different problem,
right.
right?
And that's the whole thing with Kubernetes and Docker and all of those. They're composable images, right? They're images that start with a base and then they layer these pieces on. And at some point you checkpoint. You
Right.
say, well, I don't have to go all the way to the base image. I can start at this level and kind of shorten that stack a little bit. But at any point, you should always be able to go all the way down to the base, just the core operating system install and
Right.
layer on the pieces that you want. So
Exactly.
yeah, it sounds great. Implementing it's going to be a bear. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard to kind of get people bought into it, if you will. But
I know. It's a culture. It's a culture.
yeah, it's a
All
culture.
right. If anyone has comments on that, feel free to post them. Maybe not today, but whenever you guys get around to this this particular thing. So you have Windows Update there. I see you have updates available. How did you go get it? Did you download it from somewhere? How did you do this?
So in order to get Windows 11 running, you go to the Windows Insider program. So here, let me start back from scratch here. I'll just do update.
I
So
thought
you
I was
check
in
for
the
Windows
Windows Insider
updates.
program.
And then down here on the Windows Insider program, you have to change your insider settings from beta up to dev. So the dev channel is the bleeding edge. I just downloaded an update and now it won't work. My computer's dead.
Uh-oh.
Why do you hate me? No, but so
is this part of
right
Windows
now
Update?
it is. It's through Windows Update. So I got a pop-up just now because I hit 100% on the installation. It asked me if I wanted to restart my machine now or have it remind me later. I told it to remind me later. I was a little busy, but that's all you have to do is go to the Insider and see it says the newer builds available. My build's already been installed. That's what I was downloading earlier. And all you have to do is change to the dev channel and you can start getting preview
guess
builds.
what? On mine, so mine was, remember you were telling me I have to do a BIOS change.
Yes.
I did mine on mine, and mine says your PC does not meet the minimum hardware requirements recommended for Windows 11.
Yes.
There may be issues. Learn more. Right.
So
and then it says
join.
Then it says join the Windows program to get preview builds of Windows 10. Hello.
Yes. So join the program. Go ahead and join the program. You can do that this boot. And then you change your BIOS settings to turn on those that are required for the trusted module. Once that's turned on, and really people are making a big deal out of it, but if your machine came with Windows 10, 99.5% of you have the capability of turning that on in your BIOS and being able to run it. It's only those older machines that really don't have it. The one that's going to make me sad and die a little bit inside is that I've got the Dell server that I bought that's not going to be able to run the latest version of Windows Server,
right?
Because it doesn't have that trusted module because it's an older secondhand Dell machine that I bought.
Let me share my screen real quick over here, and I'm going to show you what I got going. So you see over here, it says right now I'm joining the insider program, and you see how it says your insider settings right here.
Yes.
And notice that it says dev channel. It defaulted for my dev channel right away. Interestingly enough, even though beta was recommended. So I'm going to confirm it. Better Windows for everyone. Hey. And one more step to go. We need to restart so you can get to the insider preview builds. I'm going to restart later.
Yeah. So once you get it set up,
there we go. Check it out.
It'll give you a chance to get connected. And oh man, that's your old MSN account.
Yep, dude, it is. I have an MSN account from 1995, man. I got Comrade Yuri and all his friends. They know me pretty well.
Big OG there. That's an OG move. I love it. So anyway, the idea of trying this software out early, I mean, everyone, not everyone. Those of us that are really old, we remember Microsoft ME. Do you remember ME?
Yes, yes, I do very well. Oh my God.
Windows XP was kind of iffy. So Microsoft had a problem with their operating systems for a while, but they've really, I think, done a great job of ramping it up, and they've changed the way that they're doing a lot of their internal processes as far as building these go. So it's not as much of a big bang approach. That's always a horrible option when building software.
Right.
But they've matured as the industry has matured. And so I'm not as honestly concerned about running Windows 11 as I was, back in the day. And even back then, I was on the, I was in the program and got the MSDN. Remember the binders with all the little discs, and we had the big binders, and they had CDs, and then we got the little binders that were cool and had DVDs in there. And I used to do that, and I had a secondary machine. I've been blessed to always be able to have a secondary machine that I could play with that stuff on. So now I'm actually running it on my home machine. It's the one that I game on. It's the one that I do everything on.
So I'm going to turn on my BIOS, and I bet once that I have the BIOS on and I go try to do this again, it's probably going to say, okay, go ahead and go. I'm pretty sure that's the issue on mine. It's not telling me you got to go set the BIOS. It's knowing that I don't have that enabled. So when it immediately checked, of course, I was not compatible.
Right.
Sounds good. So by the way, so there is a Windows on insider.windows.com. You can follow through some of the features over here, meet the program to at least see what's out there. But here's my thing. It's like when Microsoft, to me, especially lately, when Microsoft gets this far and makes it this easy, and am I getting this right? Free to get this far? Wait, I haven't seen it ask me for any money.
No, it's all free.
No wonder why you like this stuff. I'm telling you.
I do.
I was going to say, this is exactly in your wheelhouse, sir.
Well, but see, Windows 11 is a free update to Windows 10. It just is. The same way that Windows 10 was a free update from Windows 98. No,
not that far back. XP. More like Windows 8. No, remember, there was Windows 8, and before that there was Windows 7. Yes. And then now we're looking at XP.
Now we're getting into it. Okay.
Right. Now we're looking at XP. Just as a reminder of where that came from. And ME, by the way, is somewhere just before that, I think.
Yeah. So, do you remember Warp? IBM's OS Warp?
Yes. Well, after OS 2, it was Warp. Yep.
Yeah. I love that.
Well, that was the
red and the blue.
NT killer. The NT killer. Remember Windows NT?
And you remember you could get the red and the blue. There were the red and the blue versions.
That's right.
Whether it would run it locally, Anyway.
Right. That was not a coincidence. There was a certain movie that was out there that sort of had a reference to that. Yeah. Just saying. Hey, I was going to show you a couple of things over here since I had the screen. Besides the Land Sharks on SNL, we'll look at that another time. Land Shark. So we have a little wiki over here. I pasted the links over here in the chat that maybe Raquel can post into our chat area and also maybe into our site. Edge computing, it's good to know how it works in general. This is as let's just say non-vendor related as you can get for like information about edge computing, but it's a good thing to understand it because actually when you're making decisions on how things work, if you understand how this option works, it could change your whole, not your life, but at least your solution, how you're making it come out.
Right.
So,
It's a different way of looking at the problem.
all right.
Honestly, it's sort of like you know those riddles, right? I
Yep.
love riddles, but um, until you know the answer, you know, if it's one that you don't get yourself,
Yep.
if you can sit there and you can bang your head against the wall, and until you know the answer, it's impossible. But as soon as you know the answer, it's obvious. And
Yep. That's
that's the
true.
way some of this edge computing
The
stuff
finger
is.
trap. Remember that finger trap thing? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
for the folks that have ever discovered that the first time, it's like, ah, I'm trapped. And all of a sudden you show them, oh, just do this. And it's like,
Uh,
oh, by the way, so here's the Windows 365 Cloud PC. We were talking about that. That's also going to be in a link over there. That's easy to find. That's also in that's easy to find. I'll tell you what I've been looking at lately.
yeah, please.
Did you know that you could make a free Azure Synapse? Have you tried Azure Synapse? That remember I was showing you Power BI before,
Yes, you showed me. I haven't tried it yet.
and the Power
I'll
BI
admit it.
stuff was fun. And then all of a sudden, here's the cloud version of Power BI,
Right.
Azure Synapse. I want to give you this link over here to play with. I'm going to pass this along. This is my treat to you. Hold
Please
on a
do.
second. And all you have to do
That's my
is
homework. Between
all
now
right.
and next week, I'll do
So,
that.
and that one we're allowed to share to everybody, but the next link I will not share with everybody, but I will share with you. Hold on a second. Refresh. Come on. I think I need to go back. Why won't it let me go back? This was working just moments ago. Here we go.
It's like your kids, right? When you
Here we go.
try to show you something.
Here we go. Aha, that's better. All right,
There we go.
I'm going to paste this link to you really quick before it expires because it does expire, and that's just for you. But by the way, so this is the actual walkthrough of a presentation. Data engineering. They're basically giving you a little tutorial on how it runs. And there's a lot of the things over here. You'll attend as me, but it doesn't matter because it's a recorded version of the show anyway.
Now,
And I'm sure they'll publish it.
Yeah, my registration cookie is not present.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did a good job with security.
Oh, they finally fixed it. Oh, they fixed that security. Nice. Well, I'll have to wait then for the actual video to come out, the training video, because it will come out. But the concept over here is this is really cool. It's just a walkthrough. There is a video link, and I'm going to pass that on to you over here. 1 second here. Oh yeah. So let me go to this step-by-step tutorial document. Check it out. And I'm going to drag and drop that file into the chat for you. And here you go. And that's the instructions going in right over there. Hold on a second. Come on. Oh, really? Not allowed? Oh, I guess I have to mail. I have to. There another thing. Wow.
They're doing good.
You know what? All this stuff is actually working. How about that?
Yeah.
Let me forward and let me just email it to you really quick. I'm just going to say new. See, there's always a way around it. Like I'm showing you all my secret ways to get around it. Hey, all these things are blocking my ability to tell Larry, hey, you didn't have to do this officially. And I'm just going to go new email and just see the old school. I'm going to send it to Larry. Let's see. Which Larry will I use?
Take a picture of it with your phone.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course there's that. And let me go ahead. Open up the file here, and I have the file over here, and I'm just going to drag and drop it into the mail.
Cool.
And there it is in the mail right there, and I'll send it to Larry. No, don't send. Subject. Okay, it says subject. And you got it. There we go. Done.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, so that's the instructions, basically. You see how it says there, please download the trip data and all this stuff. Basically, set up your freebie Azure Synapse workspace. Follow the step-by-step tutorial. You don't have to have the video right now because I know you don't really need a video, but it's nice to have a video. But anyway, so follow that. And then you saw that other video because part of it is you have to set up your environment first
Right.
before you follow these steps. Play with it and, send me money afterwards because I know you'll feel like it. You'll be like, here's my money.
Absolutely.
Because it's actually really, really cool when you see it working. What's the concept of Azure Synapse or anything like this? And we'll figure out who else has something similar. The concept is I have Power BI. I want to connect to, like, say, 5 different APIs from different places and get big data so I can do my Power BI big, analytical data and all that stuff. Well, guess what? What if those data pieces have 1 million rows in them, thousands of rows, all that stuff? Well, my Power BI, being a local desktop on the edge machine, will perhaps just die a death because it can't handle all that data, or it won't die a death. It'll just simply take hours and hours and hours for it to process because maybe it's using the cloud to help it, whatever it is, but it's just going to take forever to do. Now, imagine on the cloud, instead of having to do that, there's a place where you bring all that data already ahead of time, model it, aggregate it, do all that stuff that I showed you in the Power BI. And now with your Power BI or your Excel or you name your API app, whatever, talk to it.
Yeah.
Done.
And see, it's like the tide, right? It's we were talking about the edge before, and this is taking it from the edge and putting it in the cloud.
Yes.
But then we're also talking about taking things from the cloud and moving it to the edge. So
Yes.
it's all sort of that same ebb and flow of where we want to have the computing happening and where we want the data to live. And so, yeah, I look forward to that. I will take a look at it between now and then. Between now and next week.
And see, and you can see it integrates again with Power BI, and all these other systems. So, like, right now, I'm going to send it to myself over here because I forgot to send it to myself. And it's like, read this now. Okay, I'm telling myself.
You're not going to put subject? Come on.
The subject I said read just now.
Okay.
So let me go back to that for just a second because I'm just looking at the little help that they gave us over here. Oh, look at that. Hey, limited free time quantity offers for analytics. Or what was I looking at over here? The data factory. Oh, look at this. You're going to love this one. How about automated publishing and continuous delivery? This is our, this one we're like, table stakes. See, if you can't do CI/CD, get out.
It is table stakes. And can I drop a plug?
Yes, plug me.
So Monday, I'm going to do a presentation at Programmers Week, and it's going to be about the Fine Nine, and the CI/CD is the table stakes.
We talked about it, the Fine Nine. That was on the show, yeah.
On this show, we talked about that. I'm going to be presenting it on Monday. So,
hey, can people register that or join it? Go ahead and post a link. Let's post a link right there when you get a chance, so that Raquel can put it up, so someone can come in and see you. Or heckle you, whatever they like to do.
I would hope that they have. No, because I like to fight.
They got to bring it.
And they got to bring it. You got to bring it in.
Yep.
Because the way, if we're not able to have a nice, good, civil fight about a subject, then neither one of us has enough passion.
What?
That's what we do.
A good way to put it. I'm just going to give you this one over here where you have, look at this. It's happening in GitHub.
Oh,
nice. A CI/CD flow. The concept over here is, again, like in our good old infrastructure as code thing, that the actual data itself, the data collection and the way the data gets processed. Because here's the thing, this is not live data. All right. And when you're dealing with millions of rows of stuff, there's no way to just really keep up with live data in that kind of system. That's like a humongous type of system. If you can imagine, like, what if Walmart had a dashboard where the moment somebody runs their credit card in like aisle 12 of Poughkeepsie store number 28, right, and all of a sudden they see that little data change, that is a ridiculous system. It's useless information because that little change does not help you analyze or do any kind of work. However, if it's like daily, what are the daily counts? Or like, show me the hourly trends, but don't show me in the hour. Show me the hourly trends as an aggregate so I can see time of day when something happens. but I want it fixed. I don't want like other data to come and mess me up while I'm looking at that data. That's what this is about, right? When
Yeah.
to get the
And
data, when to publish it. You see that? Feature branch publishing, and then you're basically sending out the stuff out.
it all depends on the type of data that you have too, right?
Yep.
It's all about the audience, and it's about, for example, blood pressure. Important to know about that right away. But it's not necessarily important to know about it in Chicago if I'm in New York. Okay,
Yep.
so there's also how far the data should spread. We've got a lot of data things that we need to really kind of unpack, and we could spend days on it. But I'll look forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Definitely. The only reason why I'm resending this to myself is just so it's like top of mind when I get there. I'm sure I have the links sitting in there somewhere. As you can see, I'm unfortunately very bad at cleaning out my. This is just one of my many different sessions over here. I have so many things going on. It's like, so I have to like, sometimes I have to you ever have to do that? You have a window open for it somewhere, but you can't find it. So you have to create a new tab and look for it again.
I occasionally would do that. Yes.
Yes. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just sending it to myself. And I know my team is going to make use of this like now when I get back to them. So
Cool.
it's just one of those kind of things. Just and try it out, as they say. Again, you saw like the AWS stuff you could try out for free. There's Google stuff you can try out for free. And of course, Microsoft is very well known for doing all this free stuff that you got out there. But this is, of course, how do you learn? This is the way.
Right. And I don't want to short shift any of the cloud providers out there. And did you know?
There we go.
Did
By
you
the way,
know that that Microsoft, not Microsoft, that Oracle? Did you know that Oracle has a cloud? And Oracle is offering free training. I'll find a link.
Free training from Oracle?
Free training from Oracle.
So without having to go to YouTube? Is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
So it's an actual training.
Yes.
Well, we should actually you know what? Why not? Free is free.
Free is free.
And why not add it to your belt? I mean, if you got time, go for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, looking for that link right now. Let's see.
Yeah, I've got it. Well, it's actually just their main link.
Oh, just oracle.com?
Oracle.com/education.
Oh, that's easy. Oracle.com.
Free introductory Oracle training.
And there she blows.
Mm-hmm. So scroll down, and it's the there you go.
Okay, look.
There you go. One more. There you go. Oracle Learning Explorer.
Start learning.
There you go.
Get your cert.
Free training and accreditation.
Accreditation. Yes. Say that 20 times fast.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So, wow, we have yet another link that we're pasting onto the system over here.
I know. It's awful.
We got a lot of links today.
Way too much stuff.
Way too much stuff. That's all right. People can digest it at their convenience later. That's why we have the cloud. Sir Larry, I think we want to cut off a little bit early because I have, like I said, I want to catch up with some of that stuff that you saw me send. Was like, oh yeah, I'm about to meet with that team. So let me go get them as excited as I am.
Sounds good. And
play.
We will meet back on Friday. I look forward to it. I was saying earlier, we need to start getting
an audience,
some guests again. Well, yeah. Well,
and
an audience. Audiences will come.
Yeah. Yes. So you have some guests in mind.
Yes. We can go back to the ones that we've already talked to. We're in a new format now.
We can revisit them. We can like, hey, what have you done since?
And a lot of the people have changed jobs. So that means they're in a new place.
So, well, at the very least, now we have a list. We'll just go back in the episode guide and see who we got in there. We can start with Eric and work our way backwards from there.
We can
see what
do
Eric's
that.
doing. Let's try with give Eric a ping.
I know where he is.
You know where he is?
Yeah, right. He's going to be on the project that I'm starting sometime soon.
Well,
whenever they get the paper signed.
As they say, captive audience or captive guest.
Exactly. Best kind.
Sounds good.
All right.
And we'll get the rest of them as we go through. I'm sure Joel can't wait to hear from me at some point. All right.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you, Sir Lair.
thanks everyone for joining. If you're watching this in 2023, well, I'm sorry.
Yep. That's it. Thanks for even finding us. That's great. You know,
Still good.
time capsule.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Ralph.
All right.
Bye,
Take
everyone.
care.